Hey guys, welcome back to the Debate Hut. Today we've got a Disney debate for you based on a Disney fan theory. So today's debate is Aladdin set in the future? Which you're basing solely on the 1992 animated original version. Grace is going to be arguing that Aladdin is set in the future, whilst Ellie and me are arguing that it isn't set in the future. So yeah, before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe and share the video to any Disney fans you know of. We've done quite a few Disney debates so far, like is Jasmine a bad role model? Disney shouldn't make films that have the theme of love at first sight, and does Belle have Stockholm Syndrome? Which I'll leave a card to up above here to all of our Disney debates that we've done so far. And just to note as well, we also do other Disney content as well, apart from debates. So if you guys don't enjoy debates, have a look there on our channel, that is. So yeah, on to the debate. I think Grace should begin.
All right,
I just did all the talking, so you know.
Okay, so to start off, just because we're going to focus on the animation film, I'm going to talk back to where we first see when Aladdin meets the genie. So in the film, Genie states that he's been trapped in the lamp for the last 10,000 years. And then let's fast forward to when they're doing the dress-up scene where Genie is dressing up Aladdin to become a prince. Now, he was looking at his clothing and he said, oh, that is so 3rd century. So, if the genie said that he's seen the clothing from the 3rd century and then was trapped in the lamp, he has no idea about the update fashion of clothing or style or anything. From the 3rd century to like 10,000 years later, that kind of calculates the possibility that Aladdin is set in the future because from what the genie said to us. And so that was my first point.
Okay, I can
address
that one.
Go ahead.
I can address that one. So 10,000 years, first of all, like that doesn't have to be literally 10,000 years. That could just be that. I could say, wow, I feel so old, but no, that's a bad example. But I could just say something, but I don't.
The last time we spoke was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Elias. That's what I should have said. Like, it doesn't have to be meant literally. Like, it's just a way to express like how long it's been, the duration. And the second part about the 3rd century thing, and what was it? Like that was so last. That was last.
That was so 3rd century.
That was so 3rd century. That's basically just taking a play on that was so last season. That doesn't have to mean exactly that it was last season. So. It doesn't exactly have to mean that was last season. I could literally just mean it's like it's outdated. It's not in fashion. So it doesn't.
It's true though. Because in the 3rd century, like during that time, I actually did research. It was like the crisis of the Roman Empire, and where like people became poor, like during the battle or anything, and it was sort of similar. So he was probably telling the truth.
It's a fictional movie.
Oh, Emily, if it's fictional, then you should be fine with it being based in the future.
No, because it isn't.
But if it's fictional, like you said, then why do you care?
Because the directors and writers of Aladdin, Ron Clements and John Musker, even said that it isn't set in a post-apocalyptic future, which is what the Disney theory is, that it is set in a post-apocalyptic, oh my God, that's such a post-apocalyptic future. And they literally said it isn't. The writers, the directors literally said that. And this is just a fan theory. This is something that the fans have thought about. And you know what? I find it interesting. It is really interesting, some of these fan theories, and this one is. But it is just a fan theory, simply.
Yeah, well, Andrew Garfield said he wasn't going to be in No Way Home, and yet here he was.
That's not a fan theory. That's
Okay, can I go to my second point, please?
Yes, you may.
How do you bring Andrew Garfield into this? Like,
I'm just.
Why would we not bring Andrew Garfield into it?
So,
oh my gosh!
As you know, in the as a genie throughout the film. He's been impersonating like lots of like old and not old, but like memorable and famous people and figures throughout history, such as Robert De Niro or Jack Nicholson, like all those impressions he's done. And let's just say, if Aladdin was based in the past, the genie wouldn't know these people because they wouldn't exist back then. If they did exist, Aladdin should have existed after these famous people. Do you understand?
I understand that, but again,
So Aladdin is based after these people have lived. So it must have based somewhere in the future.
Okay, somewhere... I see where you're coming from. But again, just to point out, it is a movie. And for a movie to be enjoyable, there has to be references that we know. We need to understand what the movie is about. And these references aren't really targeted for children, because children aren't even going to know who Robert De Niro is. They're for the adults. And, you know, that's why people enjoy the genie so much, because they understood his jokes and stuff. If he was cracking jokes about, like, I don't know, something that happened in the 17th century, majority of people wouldn't even have a clue what he's talking about.
Well, if he did something about Cleopatra or like Queen Victoria, then maybe.
Yeah, but it wouldn't make sense in the context of the film. And the fact is that pretty much a lot of Disney movies have this. They've done stuff that aren't historically accurate with the period that the movie is set in. Like Sleeping Beauty, for example, the film takes place in the 14th century, which is actually something that Prince Philip says. But the characters, like, they, you know, at the end, they waltz. And they do that in a way that didn't actually even exist in the 14th century. And that is actually thought to have come around in the 18th century.
Disney was very bad at its history.
So does that... Sorry?
That's because Disney was very bad at its history.
No, it's not that. And the waltz didn't exist until the 18th century. So does that mean Sleeping Beauty is set in the 18th century? Frozen takes place in the 19th century. And in the song Let It Go, the word fractal is used. And that word was only first used in 1975. So was Frozen like set past 1975? Beauty and the Beast, it was set in the 18th century. And yet in Be Our Guest, we can see an Eiffel Tower, which never existed then. And construction only began in the following century. So what I'm trying to say is, movies are made for us to enjoy. And there's obviously going to be historical, like, there's going to be stuff that aren't historically accurate. And the reason for that is because it's something that we can actually understand. Like, you know, like having the Eiffel Tower there, like we understood what that was. But if they had like some monument that was from the 15th century, chances are only the historians and people who like really know their stuff would get that. And so in the same way, Aladdin, the genie makes these jokes, and it's simply just for our enjoyment, for our entertainment. Sorry, I feel like I went a lot there. Sorry.
You've written an essay on this, haven't you?
I have.
God. Oh wow. Okay, last point. So you were right. It is a fictional film, and the place is set in Agrabah is fictional as well. So it doesn't exist on the map. Why? Because maybe it's a country that hasn't been discovered yet. So maybe in the later future it might be. Look, there's also another point. I didn't wrote this down, but there was something mentioned, and I wasn't going to get involved because it involved like a DS video game or something. And apparently in it, when Aladdin is running in the desert, I don't know, someone spotted in the background, there's like a red sign, like a red stop sign in it. Why is that in the desert? I thought that's not really useful, but it could be suggesting that it is part of a post-apocalyptic world. Shit, that is hard to say.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll just stick to future.
So maybe Agrabah will be discovered years later. And you're probably gonna suggest that, oh, there's like other fictional Disney like places that don't exist, but you never know. People just might name it after them.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that is it is simply fictional. In 200 years later, 500 years later, whatever. I mean, we're probably not even going to exist. Like this planet's not going to exist, but that's another thing. Watch out. Is
All
climate
different
change
debate.
It could be Earth
issue for
2.0.
humanity debate?
It could be on Earth 2.0.
But it's simply just a fan theory, and like I said before, it is a really nice one. But the directors, the writers, they literally came out and said it isn't set in a post-apocalyptic future. Does magic exist? Which is something the movie is highly reliant on. Genies as well. Like, do flying
With adapted
carpets
human
exist?
technology, it might.
Yeah.
It might, but genies will not exist because they don't
I don't
exist.
know.
Yes,
don't
you
know.
never
don't.
know.
They
No,
could have just
it could
it's
exist.
like, oh my gosh, guys, it's simply a movie. It's a kids' movie. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
So
not.
it's a
it
lion
can't be set
king,
in
but
the
no one's
future.
expect to see a lion talking. But
It's a movie. I mean, this is just going back to Ari Ellie now. Like this
I know, I'm getting a
lion
bit fantastic,
talking.
can't
Let's
lie.
not talk about the lion talking because it flashed me back there, and I don't want to go there. But I think basically people are reading too much into the details in the movie, and it's simply just a movie. Like, are we supposed to take everything literally? It's just a movie. It's there for our entertainment. There's no harm in the theory at all. So, and it's a really interesting theory. And there are also some really other interesting ones, like what is it?
Is Tarzan related to Elsa?
Yeah, that's the one.
Anna?
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking Ariel. I was like, what has Ariel got to do with it? But
Oh,
yeah, it's like that
no,
one.
Yeah. Because the ship, when in the beginning of the Little Mermaid, when Ariel
That's the
sees
ship
like a
she
ship where
watches
they're
break
under,
down.
it's actually Elsa and Anna's parents' ship. That's actually a great theory.
We'll leave that one for another day. But simply, it's just a theory.
No, you're right. We
Most
shouldn't take
funniest
everything
debate.
by the detail, but it's fun. It's fun, like just theorizing this could happen, or this is true. And I think it's true because it would be very interesting if it makes sense. It's interesting. I think it's interesting.
I agreed. I did say it was interesting, but all I'm saying is it isn't true. I am debunking it and saying it isn't true. It would have been fun if it was, but it isn't.
I think it is.
And Ellie,
I think it's
we said that in
my
sync.
time to go.
Ellie,
Wait, what?
sit down. Someone tie her up.
Ellie, just pick a side.
No,
Ellie, you haven't said anything because we've voted in
Yeah,
sync.
you
so
haven't said a
go
word.
for it.
I was very confused on this one. I like the idea. I love the idea. And just because it's a kids' film doesn't mean it can't be real, which is where I disagree with you on that one, Emily. But also, if they have debunked it and said, no, it's not, then the creators have debunked it and said, no, it's not. But I would love the idea of it being set in the future because it would change the whole dynamic of the film. Like there could be so much more they could play off of that if they had like agreed and been like, oh yeah, it's set in the future. That was our idea, not yours, guys. But they didn't. They chose to shut it down, and I guess that's what we're going with. But Grace, yes, you did have a lot of evidence, and especially when the genie's talking and stuff like that. I do agree. It does have to give that hint that it was set all that time ago, stuff like that. But I think it isn't. I'm sorry. Because it's been debunked. I'm sorry. I love the whole theory and the whole idea, but if the people that made Aladdin said no, then the people that made Aladdin said no.
The amount of people I've read theorizing about it, like Reddit posts and stuff, like people have really gone mad with it. It's amazing. Like people have really taken it just from that and like.
Thank you guys for watching this debate, this very interesting debate. First time we ever done this like Disney fan theory thing. So be interesting for you guys to tell us down below in the comments on your thoughts on the fan theory. Is Aladdin based in the future? If you do agree, it'll mean a world to me. If you don't agree, fuck off. I'm kidding. Come back. So before you leave, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Again, leave a comment. Check out other videos we've done, like what Emily said. We've done reactions, reviews on like Disney, Marvel, and other topics, and other shows as well. Games, pranks, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. If you do, we'll follow you back. That's a promise. And check out the website. It tells information about us and the whole gang and the debater, and it tells you information about other videos as well. And please subscribe. It would mean a lot to us. So yeah, we'll see you next time in the future. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.